Anyway, welcome back again to All Things Rangers. And as I was mentioning in our previous video, that there is trouble ahead that I'm seeing, and John can see some things too. Because, John, I got to ask this question. Now, we now know David Quinn might still be handling some of the substitutions and the line combinations. What exactly is he good at? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the hell he's even good at. Communication with Pavel Buchnevich, all right, I'll give him credit on that. But the usage of some of the players and the usage of the goaltenders is two things that I've raised my red flags on, and this is what I'm going to go with. Because Chris Knobloch, the Rangers AHL coach, it's currently the substitute coach. On Friday night, he played Alexei Lafreniere 11 minutes, 15 seconds. On Saturday, 7 minutes, 53 seconds. Capo Caco on Friday, 11 minutes, 14 seconds. Saturday, 12 minutes, 42 seconds. And then came out and said it was a mistake on his part. That sounds exactly like David Quinn. And matter of fact, he said it.
Yeah. It's exactly what Quinn said. Exactly what Quinn did. And he's done it multiple times. There's no excuse for this. What kind of piss poor amateur hour clown show operation has to be going on for this to be happening? This is how you absolutely know Quinn's handling things from afar. This is like when the manager gets kicked out of the baseball game and is sitting there in the hall running the game to the bench coach into the dugout.
Or Bobby Valentine with the eye black mustache that he had.
That. But yeah.
I was at that game. That's why I didn't know about it initially.
But you know what? It's exactly what it is. It's terrible. It's the same thing. And the goalie situation, he's doing the same things that Quinn was doing. And you know what? To me, this team has played well despite Quinn not being there. To me, I get you need someone in Hartford, and that's an organizational decision that, you know, what'll happen with them, and that'll get figured out internally. But if you ask me, pull the trigger on Quinn and get rid of him now. Get rid of him. Get rid of Oliver. Keep
Martin.
Keep Knobloch and the guys that have come up. Keep Jock Martin, because Jock Martin is obviously the big reason for the turnaround defensively and on the PK. And let this team see what they can do. Because if you look at Chris Knobloch's conversations with the media, his pressers, it just seems like he feels like he's, I don't know, he looks like he's restricted. Like he's like tied up. And he's like afraid to be able to say what he actually wants to say. I feel like if you pressed him for the truth, you put a gun to his head, he wouldn't give you these answers. He would tell you exactly what would be going on, and David Quinn would be behind everything, pulling the strings.
Well, it's an awkward situation in that case because he's just an acting head coach. He knows he's going back down to Hartford after this. So you don't want to say things to sort of upset the apple cart, because if Quinn was to get fired, he might be the first one up.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm not saying that he should say any of that, but I'm saying, like, I think if there was a gun to his head, that's what I think what would be said.
Well, because the other thing I bring up is Vitaly Kravtsov is coming over. We know this. He will play games before the end of the season. And it's sort of like, where exactly are you going to put him in this lineup? Are they just going to slap him on the fourth line, playing with Brett Howden, and waste them right there? And that's why it sort of is. What exactly is the plan? That's why all along I kept on saying that the plan about trading Buchnevich, because you have value, you have ability to move them, you have a slot that becomes available. I like Pavel Buchnevich, and I like the way he's playing right now. It's just you can't just bring over another winger and go, okay, there you go. We're just gonna, and then what? Play him 3-4 minutes a night, maybe 5.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know. Like, I get it, and I'm very excited for Kravtsov myself, as you know. If anything, there's got to be some sort of serious roster manipulation here at this point to get him into the right spot in the lineup to get him to be able to produce. Like, you can't just bring this kid over again and then just mess with his confidence and not play him at all. He has to be played, and he has to be played significant minutes. Like, he's got to be on the third line or higher. You can't have him on
if
that.
If not second.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I know that he usually plays, I believe, left wing in Tractor, but I know that he can play right wing. I've seen him play center at the World Juniors, and I think he could play all 3 forward positions. I wonder if they would try him at center, and I wonder if they would try him with Panarin and Strome, because those two seem to thrive by having someone that's quick, that can get in and win loose puck battles. And a big part of Vitaly Kravtsov's game that's improved this year in Tractor was the fact that he won loose puck battles along the boards and in the corners and got to the dirty areas to score goals. And if you look at a lot of Artemi Panarin's passes, when he sets up someone like Ryan Strome, where is he setting up Ryan Strome? The dirty areas.
Yep.
Ryan Strome is one of those guys. I know I said this a couple of years back in that 2019 season when he first came over at the deadline, and he had that like 30 points in these 60 games with the Rangers. He was shooting at a high shooting percentage, but he was shooting at a high shooting percentage because a lot of the chances that he was getting were in high percentage scoring areas. So Vitaly Kravtsov, if you look at the vast majority of his goals, all came from high danger areas in Tractor this year. So that could fit on that line. So if you put, let's just say we got the KZB line together, Mika, Kreider, Buch, then you have Panarin with his countrymen, Kravtsov, and Ryan Strome. And then your third line, you look at Lafreniere, Hedl, and Kakko. And then your fourth line, you look at, I don't know, Gauthier, Rooney, and Blackwell. I mean, ideally, those would be the 4 lines that I would want to run with as a coach. But knowing David Quinn, he's going to try to find a way to get Lemieux and Howden in there. And Lemieux is another one who really hasn't been all too useful this season. So
and you know what? Again, looking even over at the defense, Tomo Rionen needs to be back in the lineup. I think he's already proved that. But let's go to the other head scratcher from this week, which is the number 1 struggling Ranger the previous week was Alexander Georgiev. And Georgiev, as I made the joke, Georgiev gets pulled more than my dick. He then comes out, pitches, has a good first period when the Rangers actually needed him to make saves, and then pitches a shutout, 9-0. Okay. He's actually doing the same thing to Washington, and then until Alexander Ovechkin said, "No, I'll take this game." So, and then the Rangers go to Kincaid, second game of back-to-backs. It's totally fine. Back to Kincaid again on Monday night. So now Georgiev sits for 7 days. His last game was Friday. His next game will be Thursday, maybe. And Shesterkin's around the corner. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's starting to make me not question David Quinn and question the organization. What this is starting to look like more and I'll put this in the hashtags so it'll maybe get us a little bit more views. Sort of like looking like the original Justice League rather than the Snyder Cut Justice League. So it's, come on, have somebody make the decisions. And don't tell me it's strictly contractual or performance-based bonuses, because there's ways around it. Jeff Gordon is a cap whiz. He can figure out ways around it.
I think it's Quinn pulling the strings. I honestly think it's Quinn pulling the strings. I don't think Knobloch has the power to be able to make his own decisions at this point. I think he's consulting everything with Quinn, and I know that he says he talks to Quinn a ton. So you know what? I think this is Quinn, and because it reeks of the same exact decision-making principles and models that he's been working with all year. Nothing's changed. Nothing's different. I mean, except for the guy behind the bench. So I would say this has got to be Quinn. This is definitely, this is not, I don't think it's the organization. I don't think Jeff Gordon or Chris Drury or anybody like that have stepped in. I think they're all talking to Quinn, and Quinn is still making the moves and pulling the strings.
Okay, because we talked about the goaltender situation briefly, but I'm going to have to bring it up again. Because think about it going out to last year. Shesterkin was playing a lot of games and then got into the car accident. And first off, he went with a 3-headed goalie system, which, I mean...
never works.
It never works. It doesn't. It's like the Mets 6-man rotation. It worked a couple times. That's about it. So, all right. So that's for starters. Then Shesterkin goes down in the car accident. Georgiev gets all the games. Lundqvist doesn't play. He's afraid of burning out Georgiev, as you said. And Henrik gets the game against the Flyers, where he's basically the sacrificial lamb. He gets torched for 5 goals in his final game, what ends up being his final game in Madison Square Garden. And then what? And then Georgiev plays, and then Shesterkin plays the rest of the way. It's just... is there a definite rotation here? I mean, I'm not saying go completely Mike Keenan. Mike Keenan, who would just go, oh, right, Mike Richter plays 74 games, Glenn Hilley will play 8 or start 8. And obviously the Roger Nielsen alternating is not what we want either. But have a rotation. Sitting now Georgiev now from Friday to Thursday isn't going to make any sense unless it's Shesterkin playing. Now let's say it's Shesterkin's back, because I know he's skating. He's not going to be. I think he's going to be out another week. But, so they play Shesterkin on Saturday, then it's even longer than a week for Georgiev to see a puck in a game. Again, that's where we're on. That's where we're on. And we just had the positive video about all the positive things we could see right now. Getting our goalie tandem back. Getting our star players playing again. And now... you can't help but see these problems.
Yeah, they keep popping up, and that's why I am 150% convinced that this is Quinn, because it's the same decision-making principles and ideals that he's been doing all season. It's the same line of thought, same exact line of thought, no differences, and it's got to stop. You know what? Igor's coming back. He should be back sometime, I think, this week. They said that they didn't want to play him in the second game against Washington because he didn't get to have a full practice.
We're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game. We're talking about practice.
Okay, so then why didn't he play yesterday then? You telling me that he didn't get to have a full practice in that time frame? You guys don't practice at all over a weekend?
Well, at least they went away from him to Keith Kincaid again. And again, you know what? In one way, Keith Kincaid is playing very well. Let's give it up for Long Island's Keith Kincaid. But on the other hand, we're resting it all on Keith Kincaid right now. And you saw what happened last week against the Flyers, where you're going, oh, Kincaid just shut out the Bruins. Horrible overtime winner. So, and we're going to move on from there. But what we want to know what you think. Comment down below. Are the Rangers even making the right decisions? As much as we were being positive, yay, let's go Rangers. But also seeing the trouble ahead. Do you think we're thinking too much? I know I'm guilty about that. How about you, John? You're guilty of thinking too much?
Yeah, I can get a little bit in my head. You know?
Okay. Well, leave us a like anyway.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.